All right, everybody. Well, hey, we are back with our last speaker of the day here, and I honestly, you better be buckled in. You had better pull that seatbelt tight on your lazy boy or your desk chair because you are going to get your mind rocked. If you thought Aaron Young made you feel bad because we had Aaron on about a half hour ago talking about corporate veil protection and setting up entities and things like that, Aaron does a great job. But he loves Merrill's presentation because the two work so hand in hand. And I know some people were a little like, oh my gosh, I got to raise capital because that's what we were just talking about, talking with other investors. But what if you didn't have to talk to other investors? What if you put the pieces in place to go out and get F'd? And I don't mean by F, you know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about going out and getting funded. The big capital four-letter word, funds. Our buddy Merrill Chandler from Credit Sense is going to share some epic funding secrets. We've talked about buying notes from the banks and out there, but Merrill is a class act and a freaking credit optimization savant when it comes to understanding what's going on with the credit bureaus and how to work those secret little buttons, the secret brotherly handshakes, so that you can get the banks to give you lines of credit. And I'm not bullshitting you here.
No.
Hundreds of thousands of dollars in lines of credit. We've got students of ours that are clients of his doing some amazing thing, getting $500,000 lines of credit, $50,000 lines of credit. Just think about using, a line of credit with a bank or other things out there. So stay tuned. You're going to love this. Make sure you take plenty of notes. Don't go anywhere. You can catch the A&M Clemson game later. All right. This is much more important to your future than what Jimbo and Dabo are doing on the field. So without further ado, our buddy, our brother from another mother, the one, the only, the freaking face melting badass, Mr. Merrill Chandler, join us today.
Bro, you know what? With an introduction like that, I mean, how can I go wrong, right? First of all, you guys have had a long day, so I can promise you one thing: nobody's ever fallen asleep in my presentations. Right. So not only from the content, but I've been accused of being a fire hose. I have a great picture of that here in a moment. So let's get started. First of all, thank you, Scott. What you have said is absolutely true, because today we're going to be talking about literally how a newly discovered legal banking hack, a set of insider secrets that will help you print checks up to $1 million to do your deals, right? Write a check and do a deal using, listen carefully, unsecured, stated income, business lines of credit at 5 to 7%. Right now, it's basically prime plus 1, prime plus 2.5%, right? Top tier banks, not private money. We're not talking about hard money. We're talking about top tier banks in as little as 120 days. So all of this we're talking about without needing collateral or tax returns or financials. Fair enough? So how many of you think I'm full of shite, right? It's not, I understand it's not swearing if it's in a different language, right? How many of you even believe that that's possible? Well, the first things we're going to talk about is kind of the playing field. Can you win a game if you don't know the rules? And that's a resounding no, right? But none of us, myself included, before I created this entire fundability optimization process, I didn't know what the rules of this game were. So you are not alone in being mystified at the possibility of those $1 million in business lines of credit, right? So what I'm committed to, and what I want by the end of this, our time together, this training, is I want you to be able to do more of the things you love, spend time with your favorite places, your favorite people, pursuits, passions, the missions and callings you have in life, right? And some of you even wanted to establish a legacy or an empire for your loved ones and your family, right? But the goal here is to learn to play the funding game like a pro. Like a professional. This isn't about being a pickup game at the rec center. This is NBA all-star pro ball. And we're going to talk about how to be a professional borrower instead of a rookie or an amateur borrower, right? Something that isn't fundable. We're also going to talk about the flipping on the money switch and how you can turn your personal credit profile and your business profile into a funding machine without having to sell your soul, right? Hard money, private money, etc. Now, the whole consequence of our time together is to talk about, discuss, reveal, discover 3 secrets that successful entrepreneurs use in order to do more deals, right? Write a check and do a deal. That's our goal. Now, a little bit about me. Regardless of the words that Scott has used, I have done a few things right. I built my first tech empire in Silicon Valley and sold it when I was 27. I flipped my first $100,000 profit house by the time I was 29. I had 8 properties. I hit 2008 with properties to the tune of $3 million+, and I had multiple business lines of credit at $100,000 each. Exactly what we're talking about today. Now, one of the things that I am most proud of and taught me the most was that I also co-founded Lexington Law Firm. It's the single largest, most successful credit repair law firm in the country. But at Lexington, I discovered that credit repair does not make a client fundable. I got discouraged that credit repair didn't create the results that I wanted it to. You can't write a dispute letter, delete a few items, and then qualify for business lines of credit or commercial loans or whatever. You can't repair your way to awesome fundable credit, right? So this process, that being at Lexington, realizing this, started a 20-year journey to reverse engineer the FICO scoring models and lender underwriting models. I wanted to know what made clients fundable, right? Now, this brought an entire paradigm shift to go from good credit, bad credit, which doesn't, what is good credit? What is bad credit? You can still have positive accounts on your profile and no negative accounts on your profile and not be fundable. So my contribution to this entire thing, part of our training tonight, is to talk about how we're moving this from good credit, bad credit to fundable and not fundable. You can have an 800+ credit score and not be fundable. We'll talk about that. So I studied literally tens of thousands of credit profiles, looked at the befores and afters, and developed this process, which it has come to be known now as fundability optimization. How to be fundable, the ability to get funding, right? Nothing else matters. Whether or not somebody lends you money is the only thing that matters, and that's the only thing that's going to matter tonight. Now, I left Lexington to create a system that would actually create fundable borrowers, and founded CreditSense to be able to deliver this technology. And so that is, and so then I ran into a problem, right? Like all of us, like you've wanted to do a deal. You went to get a loan and may have gotten denied, right? Well, I had a perfect opportunity to take all of my tech online so the clients could log in and do and optimize on the fly, right? Optimize from their desktop computers. Well, I had spectacular personal credit because by this time, at 15 years, I'd spent becoming awesome at personal optimization. I did a full doc loan and asked for $100,000, and I got denied. Totally got denied because I had great credit, but they wouldn't tell me the real reason. And I'm going to tell you why you get when you go in to buy notes, when you go in to buy real estate, you're getting denied as well for the very same reason. Now, as I said, I was a master of the universe when it comes to personal credit. I've been optimizing for 15 years at this time, and I knew, just like personal, there had to be a key to unlock the secret to business funding. I didn't know what it was. I got denied, and I was furious, right? So in my research, one of my executive team found this amazing conclave. Think of it as the Mount Olympus of the credit gods, right? FICO held a worldwide summit. They called it FICOWorld. Held a worldwide summit in order to for all of the credit geeks, all the industry professionals, all the big banks of tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 banks. Everybody got together to learn how more and more of FICO's ability to optimize profiles, protect from fraud, to, stop identity theft, a multitude of subjects, but how to, and what the key was how to implement automatic underwriting systems. All right, we'll talk about that in just a second. Well, at the end of the day, of the first day, we were sitting with a couple of our instructors, and and a gentleman walks up and he says, may I sit with you? We're like, sure. I didn't know anybody at the table except for my team. And he sits down and says hi to a couple people to my left. And he asked me, so tell me about your business model. And I'm like, I make clients fundable, right? We make borrowers fundable. And he said, tell me more about that. Because his clients, FICO's clients, are lenders. Lenders only make money when they lend, right? So if we have more and fundable borrowers, isn't that a good thing for lenders? So I'm doing, these dominoes are falling in my head while he's asking me these questions. And after 10 minutes of discussion, he's like, let me have you talk to our score development teams. Now, this is Zeus of the credit world, guys. And he's saying, okay, Mr. Chandler, I'd like to have you meet with the people who actually developed the FICO score models, right? Personal and business. I'm on the floor in total amazement. For the next 3 days, they said that we could ask as many questions as we'd like. So me and my team stayed up all night, and we actually developed 100 questions that were deep dives into the entire personal credit score and the business scoring models, right? And as we sat there, as you can see over on the left, Ethan, chief FICO scientist, Julie and Janice are his team members on the personal score development squad. And then Joanne is the lender underwriting liaison. FICO has an entire division that supports the building of automatic underwriting systems for all the lenders, all the top tier banks, right? And then Dave was over he was one of the business liaisons for SBSS, which is the Small Business Scoring Service. Now, this may not be important to you, but I'm going to tell you why it actually is a game changer for you. When I was there, they made me sign an NDA because of the level at which we were asking questions and the things we already knew about optimization, right? About how the FICO score works. They made me sign an NDA. But Dave, the SBSS liaison, he said one thing that changed everything. It was this. He said that you have to optimize for business credit. 80% of all small business entrepreneurial approvals come from a qualified personal credit profile. Now, you and I, and we'll talk more, but you and I have been led to believe that you can build a Paydex score, and Experian has a business score, and Equifax has a business score, and these scores are important. Not true. 80% of all consideration to whether or not to approve you for a business line of credit, business credit cards, commercial loans through the business, etc., is based on a personal profile, your personal profile that is optimized to fit business lender guidelines. You with me? So maybe just like you are now, dominoes started to fall for me. And like you're sitting here in this presentation, I'm telling you, I was sitting there, and it was no accident that I was sitting there at Mount Olympus of the funding world. Things happen for a reason, guys. And so when we came back, we began to implement our game plan. Now, we broke this formula that we began to understand from the answers to all of our questions, the validation we got for all of our working models. We broke it down into easy to implement steps, right? Software had to do the heavy lifting. So we found and hired technical experts to make all of the right moves so that the 2 years and the hundreds of thousands of dollars that we invested, we would get it right. The great thing is we built a system that exists nowhere else. I mean, these are just snapshots of kind of the system all the things that we track and all of the things that we optimize. We literally rank the value contribution of every single one of your revolving accounts, your installment loans, utilizations, how all of those things contribute to your profile, the quality of your profile, the tiers and rankings, everything that you need to be able to optimize your personal profile and your business so that you can qualify for what we call these trophy credit lines. A trophy credit lines means you're winning the funding game, right? You get a trophy when you win, right? So the amazing thing is as we began to implement this, we called it a funding formula, and conveniently, the FICO gives automatic underwriting approval up to $1 million. The SBSS, Small Business Scoring Service, unsecured underwriting up to $1 million. So it became known as the $1 million funding formula, because with FICO's assistance, the answers to our questions and the system that we delivered, every client who implemented our system got approved for business credit. Every client. The process was easy. It was very detailed, but the second you put all those dominoes in place, it was easy. Now, it's designed, the $1 million funding formula is designed to trigger automatic underwriting and automatic limit increases. So let's go back to that first slide. I asked, how many of you think I'm full of shite that we can get $1 million in business lines of credit at Prime Plus, right? How many of us think that's so? So I'm going to ask you a couple of questions right now and show you that it's already happening. You just don't know how, and you're not doing it on the right credit instruments. So let me cover that. Automatic underwriting. How many of you have been approved in 30 seconds to 2 minutes for a $500,000, $5,000, $10,000 credit card? How many of you have gotten approved 30 seconds after you hit submit or turned in that application, right? If I'm in a live presentation with in person with people in the room, it's at least 50% of the room are like raising their hands. So 50% of you I know are raising your hands, all right? Then there's automatic limit increases. So how many of you have received an email or a letter from your credit card issuer, from your lender, that says, congratulations, we just gave you another $500, $2,000, $5,000. We just raised your credit limit and you didn't have to do anything about it. How many got that? 30 to 40% of the people in the room when I do an in-person conference presentation raise their hands. Those are called automatic limit increases. What's fascinating, guys, is that everything that I said on that first slide, no collateral, no tax returns, no financials, no income verification, no inquiry or credit pull, nothing. They just gave you the damn money. Why? And you don't get to say, because I pay my bills on time. FICO measures 40 plus characteristics of your credit profile. Paying your bills on time is one of them. You don't know why, and I do. Imagine getting that same approval and that same limit increase on business lines of credit. What would happen if you could get every 6 months automatic limit increases? What if it was a simple reapplication process that delivered more money to the tune of 30, 50% or more? We've had clients get double their original limit amount in an automatic line increase. That is power, you guys. And it works for any borrower. And we get regular approvals. We have $20,000, $50,000 days regularly. But we also get crazy $500,000, $670,000. We have that you'll see at the end of this. We actually have where there is $3 million in these credit lines so far for one of my clients. Guys, the whole point of this is that it's not just possible, but many, if not most of you, are already experiencing it. You just don't know how to flip on that money switch. And that's what we're talking about today. So I also want to share with you, I hope you could hear it. I hope you could hear it, but this is one of, I'm going to play a video here of one of our team members or one of our clients knocked it out of the park. So here, I'm going to turn up the volume. Here we go.
I did what you said to do. Just a couple of things, and my score went up 30 points right away. And so within 6 months, my score went up over 100, and I was already in the 700. So my score's perfect now. And they all line up, and I was able to achieve, $500,000 unsecured line of credit my first time out of the gate with my first bank. So that really put me in a position to change the game that I'm executing to change my retirement strategy. And in fact, I actually used the line of credit recently for the first time. So it put me into a $1 million asset that I would not have been able to secure. And in fact, the bank, I was putting all the documentation together, and they called me and said, okay, we're done. And I said, don't you want the paperwork? And they said, no, your credit score is fine. In fact, it's unusually fine. So we're just going to give it to you. We don't need any more paper, and it'll be an unsecured line of credit. So $500,000.
$500,000, guys, in the ability to create everything that she wanted to do, take down $1 million property now as a result. So what we're talking about here, I apologize if that was a little light. I hope you turned yours up. It is amazing what is possible when you know what the rules of the game are. So one of the things that I have come to after this 20-year journey, right? There are 3 things that I have discovered that basically stop you in your tracks from getting funding. 3 beliefs, right? The first belief is that most of you believe that you need full documentation to get approved from top-tier bank business credit, or otherwise you have to go to soul-killing alternative lenders, right? Second, most of you believe that business credit is based on your business, and so you focus on the wrong things like paydex scores and building business credit, right? That is a joke, and we'll be talking about that here in a moment. The third belief is that since you don't know how business credit works, you waste money on trying to capitalize and ruining your personal credit, like credit card stacking, that put a bunch of credit cards on your personal profile, tap all those credit limits, and your score plummets, your fundability plummets. You can't do anything else until you pay down those balances. Clients come to us all the time, or people come to us all the time and want us to help them get out of the situation the credit card stuck them in. Those are the 3 big beliefs that I am here. It is my freaking mission to change those beliefs and help you change your trajectory on how to get funded. All right, so let's look at, hang on just a second, continuing. Now, I discovered all of this the hard way. I got beat up in my own personal credit. I got beat up when it came to, in 2008. I got beat up when it came to trying to qualify for business credit, and that business credit, I got denied because I was what they called a high-risk business. And we'll talk to yours about that in a second as it applies to you. Here's the thing. You guys, by even watching this presentation, you guys get access to the cheap and easy way to get bank money. I just changed this number today. We're at $96.3 million in approvals over the last 4 years, guys. We've helped real estate investors, note buyers, entrepreneurs, just like you, obtain $96+ million in these approvals, right? I didn't break a sweat. Thank you, Scott. I didn't even break a sweat. And the reason is because it is a formula. You set up the dominoes, you push the dominoes down, they fall down, and you end up with 1, 2, 3, 500 or 5 credit lines worth $20 to $50 or $100,000, and they all have the capacity to grow to $100,000 through this automatic limit increase process. It works. Now, I talked about the 3 major beliefs that get in the way for investors, note buyers, and how they're immobile because you believe you have to have, you believe inaccurate beliefs about what it means to get funded from top tier banks at the lowest possible rate. So I'm going to share with you the 3 secrets that I promised earlier. And these 3 secrets are going to give you a taste of exactly how this works. All right. Number 1, if you know the rules, you can ethically, legally, morally hack bank underwriting systems for up to $1 million in cheap and easy bank money. I explained a little bit of that. It's $1 million because FICO does unsecured up to $1 million if you know the rules. So let me tell you kind of this massive paradigm shift that has occurred over the last few years. Guys, the game is different, and it's different in your favor. For over 500 years, lenders dominated the borrower-lender relationship. They had all the power, and they required proof from you that what you put on the application, every little point you put on the application was true, right? Doesn't that make sense? Your tax returns, your checking account, traffic, all those things that they make you prove that you're telling the truth on your application. But because that's called manual underwriting, getting proof, real live documents in the real life world is expensive. And so you can also fraudulently create all of those documents. Every one of them can be fraudulently done and have been to the tune of billions and billions and billions lost by the lenders. So the lenders over the last few years have developed bank underwriting systems that are automatic, meaning that they resource credit bureau data, what's called early warning systems data, Dun & Bradstreet data. They hit all of these databases to verify certain information that what you are, and one called FICO Falcon, which is a fraud detection a network of 9,000 banks who keep all the data from every single application that's ever been submitted. All of these databases are designed to fact check what you put on your application. So they don't need to document everything. So they don't need a human being sitting across the desk with their little glasses saying, "Excuse me, sir, I don't believe you qualify. Let me check your documentation," right? All that is either gone or going fast. So these automatic underwriting systems are designed to approve you. And so one of the things when they hit, these lenders have empowered or given this software approval authority. Bankers, human beings, used to have, for 500 years, had the approval authority. A human being made the decision. But they, over the last 5 to 10 years, all of that approval authorization has been given to lenders, lending software. All the lenders are empowering their software to give approvals. That's why it took 30 seconds to get approved for your $5,000 credit card. No human being looked at that. It just checked all the data banks and said, yes, that's the right person. Yes, that's the right, there's no fraud going on. We're going to give it to them. That is the transfer of power to this software. Now, if a borrower knows the rules of that underwriting system, if it knows the criteria that the lending software will approve, who has the power now? Who has the power over your approvals if you know what the software needs to approve you? That's right, you do. This is the game changer, guys. This is where everything changes, because if you know the rules, you can literally implement change your behaviors to align yourself with the approval authority software, and you get. You can't hack it. We're not gaming the system. When I say hack, I'm simply talking about insider secrets, right? I'm talking about little, they're not even shortcuts. They're just an awareness of how to behave, so the software triggers and gives you an automatic limit increase, or initially an approval. So let me show you a couple of those things. First of all, here's some credit profile measurements. FICO grades 40 plus characteristics of your profile. I say 40 plus or minus because different Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax, all you have different, subtly different metrics, right? And that technically there's, for future iterations, there's 150 metrics that FICO will ultimately measure on credit profiles. They're only using, depending on the bureau, 40 plus or minus. These criteria are the behaviors that if you align yourself with will get you your approvals. 4 plus 4 is just math. 4 plus 4 is 8 in this universe, right? Period. 4 plus 4, you do the right things, you will get approved. Period. You've already seen 30-second approvals. You've already seen automatic limit increases. You've already seen it. Now let's do that consciously, intentionally, purposefully on the business, and build those credit lines so that they're not in the name of your person. Okay, so Dennis. Dennis is one of my long-term clients. Probably been with us for 7 years. Keeps re-engaging every year because he wants to know what the next thing is so that he can grow and grow and grow. Now, any testimonial I'll show you, I'm literally showing you just the first round of funding. His first round of funding was $150,000 using the $1 Million Funding Formula, right? He's gone on for, I think he's over $600,000 just in the business lines and loans, right?
Dennis is one of our mastermind members. A great guy out of Dallas. We've known Dennis for years. He's bragged about you quite a bit. Yeah, awesome.
Dennis rules, right? And he just keeps going. He starts new businesses, and we'll get into this in a minute, but he doesn't go get funding for every new business. We taught him, and he now uses a business and a funding entity that he gets all of his money in and then goes and invests in his own businesses. It's super trick. Anyway, secret number 2. When you clone a qualified funding entity, automatic underwriting software is designed to approve you. Now, that's a mouthful. There's a lot there, but while 80% of the business lending decision is based on your personal profile, the other 20% is to make sure that you have a fundable entity. And there are certain criteria to make that entity fundable. One of them is even in the very name. And this is where my name is Credit Sense. I tried to get a loan in the name of Credit Sense, and guess what? Credit Sense is the top center column. It's a red flag word, and this list of, and there are more, but this list of names, if any of these names or words are in your the name of your business or in the purpose of your business, you're not fundable, just like I wasn't, because these words scream out, give me money and I will put it at risk. There is a workaround for every one of these, legal, moral, and ethical. But it's a paradigm shift. Remember, I keep talking about game-changing things. I want to show you how we're going to create a fundable entity that is not your deal entities. And then I don't care if 2 years from now, you go into cold fusion storage. You don't have to go get funding for cold fusion storage. You use your funding entity to fund it. But this has to be fundable. And that's what we mean. That's what we mean when the underwriting software is designed to approve you if it's a qualified funding entity. And that is a process that is easy to create. All right. So Steve and his wife, within 30 days, they had raised $110,000 in their funding entity, right? And as you can read, it was between 3 different lenders. So think of it as $35,000 on average. And each one of those lenders pushed the what do you call it? The underwriting limits in a number of different ways, all of which they were prepared to deal with because they had followed the $1 million funding formula, right? So, as I said out, they hit every strategy that you laid out in setting up the perfect business profile. You just got to clone. Cloning simply means copy paste, right? You just got to clone and then fill in the blanks of what the entity looks like that lenders want to fund. All right. Next, the third secret is my favorite, but you need to, when you optimize your personal credit profile to fit lender guidelines, that's when it becomes a funding machine, a business funding machine especially. So again, 80%, you optimize your personal profile to fit business lender guidelines. Man, flip that switch. So let me show you a language from FICO's website. And this is them selling the small business scoring service model to lenders, right? Not to you and me, to lenders. So notice what it says in that yellow. It says using your internal performance data plus score. Now that's not a credit score. That's the internal score for lender underwriting software. Remember, FICO doesn't approve software. Lenders have underwriting software, those automatic underwriting software programs. Lenders approve. They use FICO more or less for how high the limit's going to be and how low the rate in terms. Okay, so using your internal performance data, we're going to automatically drive activities such as automating line increases. They're selling to lenders. By the way, you're spending too much money by human beings manually underwriting all this. Our small business risk solution, that small business scoring service, will perform automatic limit increases instead of you having to do it yourself. If you optimize your personal profile for business lending, the software is designed to automatically qualify you and raise your limits. So we had another gentleman, $80,000 was his first round of funding, and he started out in the 500s. Right, his score, his profile sucked. It was unfundable in a number of ways, not just derogatory accounts. Most of us don't know what the rules are. So, step in anytime, Scott. What do you guys think? Pretty cool, right?
Good stuff, man. Good stuff.
This is I remember when I first learned about this stuff. It was crazy. Now, here's what I want to know from you guys. If you did what I'm teaching you, if you knew how if you knew the insider secrets to bank underwriting systems, if you cloned a highly fundable business entity, and if you optimized your personal credit to become that business funding machine, could you be a success? Could you pick up an 80 or a 110 or $150,000? Could you be a successful, right? And imagine, more importantly, let's say you top out at 200 grand. Could you do more deals to write a check and do a deal if you had $200,000 in business lines of credit? Is that a thing, right? How would that change your business? How would it change your life? Because that's where it gets real for us, right? Is what can I do now? I've had so many clients. People come in, they're like, I want my $1 million. I'm going to go all the way, Merrill. I'm going to go all the way. And then they get like 350 and they're like, I'm done. I can't, that is too much work for me. I don't want to do 7 deals a quarter. I don't know how to do 7 deals a quarter. Their skill set couldn't keep up with the number of deals that were available if they had more money. So they stopped getting, right? I have clients who've gone over $1 million. I'm saying, find your equilibrium and let's fund that thing. The beautiful thing is that, let's say you get your first 100, 200, 300. When you do a deal and pay it off and you follow the guidelines, they're going to give you more limit. and then you do a 350 or a 400 and pay it off, and then 500 and pay it off, they're going to raise your limits. It's the nature of the game. You don't have to take more money, but that's what they want, to lend money. Well, let's ask the question. When do lenders make money? When they lend.
Yeah, it's a dumb. Exactly.
So if they're going to make money when they lend, they're looking for a sure thing. And if I show you how to be a sure thing, then doesn't everybody win? So how many of us are excited about what we just talked about? I love this picture. Jack Nicholson is one of my favorites anyway, but that's what I look like if I were Jack Nicholson, right? How many of you are feeling just a little overwhelmed? I promised that I would show you the fire hose. Right? A little overwhelmed? Well, is it okay if I spend a few minutes going over something that I developed? I provided it to all of Scott's clients and students, and I just want to know if it's okay if I share with you how to implement this funding formula. Is that all right by you guys?
Yep, go right ahead, bud.
I can't see you, so I hope it's yes.
Yes.
All right. I'm going to offer you a 2-day Funding Hackers Boot Camp. Saturday and Sunday, September 20th and 29th. We do one about every month or so. In this, who it's worked for are beginning entrepreneurs and note buyers, etc., and experienced ones with good credit, bad credit, or even great credit. Because I said, I've got clients all the time. They have 800 plus credit scores, but can't get a dime in funding, right? So it works with entrepreneurs who need a qualified funding entity, as well as someone who already has a fundable business, right? And stop having deals slip through your fingers. Scott, you know this. Isn't there more deals than there is money out there?
Oh, yeah, definitely. A lot of money out there. Yeah.
Right? So stop letting deals slip through your fingers, because you're trying to you find the deal and then you can't, you're chasing money, right? And stop paying body part pricing. It's paying an arm and a leg for interest rates on hard money, right? And stop sharing profits by doing deals with credit partners, private money partners, etc. Now, I'm just going to go really quickly what you get in this 2-day boot camp. First, we're going to talk about how to build that qualified personal business profile. Remember, qualified personal profile, 80%. The other 20% is having the right fundable entity. Day one is about building that. We're going to talk about how to transform your personal credit profile into the goose that lays golden eggs. What I mean by that is you have been taught to misuse, abuse, and tear up your goose that's supposed to be providing you all these wonderful credit opportunities, but you butcher your personal profile. Every time you do a deal, you charge up your credit cards, your score plummets. Fundability, that FICO hates this kind of pattern, the up and down pattern, instead of the I'm a professional borrower flatline pattern. Flatline is good on the personal profile. We want to do all the heavy lifting on the business. So the golden eggs are business credit cards, credit lines, business loans, and even hard money loans. I'm not against hard money loans. If you got 200 grand and you need $35,000 on each deal, that gives you the opportunity to do 7 deals at a time by having skin in the game with your hard money lender. Until you have your own million and you don't need hard money, leverage, leverage, leverage. But we're going to talk about how to protect the goose that lays the golden egg. The second thing we're going to talk about is how to create the personal business credit identity that triggers approvals. Your identity on your personal side and on the business side is the #1 funding landmine that everybody steps on and blows up your opportunities to get funded. #1 reason why you guys are blowing up your chances is what your personal identity says and the confusion that it is, as well as your business credit identity. We're going to be talking about how to transform your personal profile into that fundable, that ideal, that perfectly fundable profile. And we're going to be talking about the velocity of credit to accelerate your approvals. It's a concept that says for every month you spend building your personal profiles, you quicken, you speed up the time to funding, because 80% is based on your personal. So instead of going out and trying to get credit lines and commercial loans, et cetera, you want to spend some time on the personal side, but it speeds quickly. There's a formula to it. We're going to talk about it and go over it in great depth and see how it applies to you. Now, if you go to my website and were to pick up all this on your own, every single, the recording of this web class, that's 8 hours long, you would pay $1,997, worth every freaking penny. Okay, worth every penny, and that's the recording of it. That's not questions and answers and live that's going to happen at the boot camp. Secondly, the second day, we're going to be talking about how to guarantee the funding approvals. First and foremost, I'm going to show you how you can vet business credit offers and avoid the fundability killing fake business credit. Capital One does not have a true business card. It reports on your personal. If it reports to your personal, it's not business credit, guys. I don't care what it says, what's printed on the statement or on the marketing. If it reports to your personal profile, it is not business credit. We're going to talk about what that means, how to avoid them, and then how to leverage true business credit. We're going to talk about how to ethically hack the FICO business funding algorithms to get higher approvals, not just get the 5s and the 10s, but get the 20s, the 30s, and the 50s in the first round, just like the ones you've seen already on the testimonials, and then grow those all the way to 100 each. We're going to talk, we spend an afternoon working on an audit to find and fix the fundability failures that stop your business approvals, guys. It's a workshop. This is not a sales presentation. This is a workshop where you actually get to fill out the paperwork and do the spreadsheet of equivalent of a fundability index to see what it looks like for you.
Well, I've absolutely loved it. One of the best 2 days things I've ever been through, and I've sat through it as well, everybody. Great stuff for 2 days.
Yeah, thank you, Scott. It's crazy. And we're going to show you how to prepare your business to pass the 30-minute underwriting. Here's the thing. An underwriter for a lender, without leaving his or her desk, can, in 30 minutes, going online, find out everything they need to know about your business and whether or not to approve you and how much they want to give you. You're going to learn how to prepare your business in the real world and online so that all of your data, the fundability matrix, is highly fundable and will look very attractive to those lenders. We're going to review and evaluate your account, the different types of credit accounts that you have on your personal profile, and how to augment those and improve the yield so that you get higher and higher limits. We're going to talk about we're going to evaluate your business fundability. And business fundability isn't just on revenue and age. There are other characteristics that we can leverage to make your business more fundable. And more importantly, we'll be able to estimate your timetable, figure out what it is to your first 100 grand, your first 300 grand, your first $1 million. It's a formula, so we can know what it takes to get to that particular timetable. One person said, I said, what if it took 5 years to get to $1 million? And somebody's like, that is so long from now. That's horrible. I said, oh, well, let's think of it this way. What would it be like if on January 1st of every year, you got an additional $200,000? Could you do something with an additional $200,000 every year for 5 years? Guys, I'm not saying it takes that long. What I'm saying is that some of us don't even know what it's like to have 200 grand to play with to make our deals happen, right? So step by step, they will give you more money just like they raised your limits by by doing the things that you don't know you've done to on your personal credit cards, they're going to raise your limits regularly by following the funding formula. All right. So the second day, again, go to the website, go to my website, and that is, and day 2 by itself, the recording, no Q&A, no customized answers, is worth $1,997. That is worth $3,994. Now, here's the question. Is it worth it? If $4,000 could get you your first $100,000 in 120 days, 6 months, some of you, it may take a year. I don't know. Somebody asks me all the time, they're like, hey, what if how long is it going to take me to get to $1 million on the phone? I'm like, that's like asking, what's it going to cost to fix my car? It's on the side of the road in Muskogee, Wisconsin. Can you just tell me what it's going to take to fix it? I don't know until you find out. But that's what the boot camp is for. That's what the fundability index is for. That's what the evaluations and the paperwork we're going to fill out and the worksheets that we're going to help establish that. Every penny of that is worth $3,994. What if I had you come to the 2-day boot camp, all of day 1, all of day 2, everything that you see, and a zillion times more for $97? Would that be okay? Would that be okay? Now, I know some of you are like, Merrill, this is amazing stuff. I'm overwhelmed. This is crazy. I refuse to pay $97. I have to pay you more. I have to. It's so valuable. What the hell are you thinking by giving it to me for $97? So for those of you who insist on paying me more, I'll tell you what. I will, for $197, I'll give you the full access to the boot camp, and I'll give you the insider playbooks to the money game, insider playbooks to the funding game. I will give you access to the recordings of all years, every single month for all year. I will give you recordings in the past, including that 197. Every single boot camp that I've done all year, I think there's 10 of them. You get that for 197, and for $29 a month, you have eternal access to the Funding Hackers private Facebook group, where you get for $29, you get a new monthly boot camp, and all of the hacks, all of the content that we do. Like, for example, just last week I did what we call a liars, cheaters, and thieves episode, where I called out Credit Karma, because they use a FICO score for 80 million people and are just lying through their teeth. I did a liars, cheaters, and thieves episode on seed capital and how they're destroying personal. And I'm sending a certified letter to the president of Seed Capital to come on my podcast and own up to the destruction that they're doing on people's personal profiles, killing their golden gooses. That's what you get for $29 a month. So if you have to pay me more money and you want the recordings for an entire year, and you want future recordings, $197 plus $29 a month. Now, if you insist, you're just saying this is crazy, I got to pay you more, then I'll give you an hour and a half of my time. $497, you get all those other things, and you can do a fundability strategy session with me. We'll take all the documents that we complete, all the worksheets. There's 4 of them. We bring all the worksheets, you give them to me, and you and I will sit down and we will go through what a plan looks like, whether there's a coaching model, whether you're going to strike out on yourself, a hybrid between the two, etc. That's $497 and $29 a month. Now, I know some of you are like, this is insane. I don't understand how you can possibly do this. Well, I'm going to give you a money back guarantee. If you're not happy with what you learn on day 1 of the boot camp, I will give you 100% of your money back. I don't care if it's $497, $197, or $97. Now, you don't get to go to day 2, of course, and I've never had anybody ever ask for their money back, ever. But just to make you feel safe, I've been doing this for 25 years. I have a spectacular reputation. I wouldn't be coming back to Scott's group and to the real estate conferences and the pit bull conference, everywhere I go, year after year after year, because they would boo me off the stage if I were not delivering results, guys. It's just the way it is. So the only question for you, is it worth gambling a weekend to see how close you can get right now to funding, right? Find out what the time is. And if it's even half of what I claimed it is today, it will pay for hundreds of times over, hundreds of times over. So we've had some some wonderful people say some wonderful things about the boot camp. And I want to notice Jeffrey talks about the drinking from the fire hose. Tracy Hazard talks about this is the most bottom line useful training in her business or professional world. Guys, $97 for a one-off experience and $197 for access to a year's worth of trainings, and $29 a month if you want to continue to go all the way through and keep being part of the Funding Hacker community. My most successful student, Michael J., I told you, $3 million in real estate portfolio acquired and secured, acquired by implementing my program. Whew, there it is, guys. There is everything that you need to know right there. In person, it's an online simulcast event in Salt Lake City. That means you can watch this thing from the privacy of your own pajamas on Saturday and Sunday, September 28th and 29th. To register, go to fundinghackers.com. Now listen carefully. This is a one-time offer. If you buy 97 and you want to upgrade later, it's going to cost you not $100, 97 to 197, but $150. This is when you have the chance to pick the one that you want to participate in. Okay, so everything that you need to do, everything that you're doing, you need to have click on fundinghackers.com. Click on are we still on?
Yeah, we're still on.
All right. Go.
I don't see your screen anymore, though.
Oh,
there you go.
Okay. Go to fundinghackers.com. Click on the check out the boot camp button. It's right there. And when you check out the boot camp, it's gonna lay out everything in writing, everything that I just said. But I'm telling you right now, this is a one-time offer. If you buy 97, it's going to cost you $150 to get to the gold package, not $100. So take advantage, be wise, take advantage. And and please, Scott, let's moderate some questions, find out what's up for people. Do not miss this, guys. Scott's been to it, and dozens, if not hundreds of his clients and students have been to it. And I just want to make sure that you guys have the opportunity to discover how to become fundable, how to stop stepping on the landmines, the funding landmines that are blowing up. How many of you learned something that you didn't know, but has stopped you from getting funding? So fire away, Scotty.
Well, one of the great things I like to throw out there is that Steph's gone through this. We're going through this as well, boosting stuff like that. It works, guys, and the team does an amazing job. Like, I'll give you an example. When I sat through it and I pulled my FICO reports and things like that, I discovered there were 28 different addresses on my credit profile when there should have been just one, right?
Yeah. And that's going to kill your fundability because remember, this is algorithms. They're looking for data sets. They're not looking at Scott across the desk with his driver's license. They're looking at a data points that you put into your application. And if you put in an address and there are 27 other versions of it, they're either going to reject you or they're going to give you what we call a trial limit. They're going to give you $2,000 instead of $20,000 because they don't know if it's really you, because fraud detection software doesn't trust what's on your app. I rest my case. That's one of 100 ways in which you can blow up your funding opportunities, guys.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest things. The difference in names, the difference in Scott A or Scott Carson, or just a whole variety of different things out there. Okay, let's see here. I want to sign up at $4.97, man. I want to do the online live simulcast, but how do I sit with you? It's going to be done. If you're doing the online simulcast, you're not traveling. It's exactly like this, everybody.
Except one-on-one. Yep.
Exactly. You'll do the one-on-one person with a follow-up afterwards or at the end of the day.
In fact, what we'll do is I will pull up the worksheets that you do in the boot camp. We'll pull them up on my screen. I have a 30-inch screen, and we're going to share that screen, and we're going to go through every single data point and what to do about it and how to get it done. Right? Yeah. So it's going to be exactly this, one-on-one.
Yeah, you're not going to have 40 other people watching the profile. He does it one-on-one. I want to make sure that shares. We're like, oh my gosh. But that's the thing. One of the things that's such great is Brad and Cheyenne and Jessica and Sky, and I could go on and on about your team there in Salt Lake, and Dallas now, because Jessica's down in Dallas now.
Right.
Does an amazing job helping us out, not only on the personal side, but with the business side. Like Dennis, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars in lines of credit doing it for real estate and note investing.
He's like buying hotels. I mean, he's flipping hotels for hell's sake. Yeah,
but that's the thing. You've helped so many people, and it's one of the most valuable things. That's why, guys, when I think about when I'm doing this virtual workshop, a little bit different. You've spoken on Note Camp before, all right? But we hadn't had you speak on the virtual workshop before. We've promoted it in different things like that, but I wanted to have you on this because if I could go back and wave a magic wand and build a perfect foundation for my note, my real estate, my consulting, my management business, because I don't want to use any of those bad words in my titles as you
correct.
Right? I would redo my business. I mean, think about this: inverse asset fund, capital, financing, properties. Just those words alone are bad words.
They're deal killers.
Yeah.
They will stop. You literally do not know, guys. There are ways that you're filling out your application, and your name is the business name is only one of them. You're literally filling out a credit application and telling a lender, please don't lend to me. Be aware, you don't want to lend to me because I'm a rookie borrower. I'm an amateur. I'm not a professional borrower. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. So your money's at risk because I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Guys, stop being rookies.
Rookies. And learn how to do it right. And that's the thing is lines of credit, hey, great. We're not talking 12% hard money. We're even splitting that with other real estate investors who are sharks. Let's not face it. We're all sharks as real estate investors. This is why I was talking about earlier about the ability to reach out to people, other investors. That's great, but they're going to want a decent return on their money. This is a great way to get prime +1, prime +2. And credits, and Merrill's not telling you to go get a credit card. He's not going to get you a credit card approval to pay for this. No, this is a nominal fee. He works with you to coach you through that. Part of the thing is what their team does is they walk you through afterwards. If you want that, otherwise they'll just teach you the secrets and let you try to go do it yourself, which is fine. Some people have success, but ultimately it's why you hire coaches. It's why you hire people to help you out with it, and that's why Merrill is our coach when it comes to getting.
Yeah, we don't even. Nobody gets to be a coaching client until they go to the boot camp because I don't know what you know how to do. I don't want, and coaching is what we do because people need help. Yep. I would prefer to have 1,000 people in a boot camp and spread the word, right? If you need help implementing this, we're here for you. But the bottom line is nobody gets to go into coaching until they attend the boot camp, because we have had so many instances where somebody didn't go to the boot camp, became a client, and then they blew up. They literally stepped on the funding landmines because they didn't pay attention and didn't go through the education. So no more. I'm not wasting my time or my team's time. You got to go to the boot camp, learn what to avoid, learn what not to do, and then if we want to do something together, I'm going to help you. But you won't mess things up because you don't know the rules of the game, right? So.
Douglas asked the question. He goes, I want to understand the difference between the $97 fee and the $197 fee of what is offered.
Okay, so great question. 97 is the day before the event, you'll be given access to our Funding Hackers private Facebook group. On Saturday morning at 9 a.m. Mountain Time. 9 a.m. Mountain Time, we will begin and go to about 4 or 5 o'clock on, depending on how fast we are and how many people and how many questions, 5 p.m. Then on Sunday, 9 a.m. to 3 to 5 p.m. Sometimes it's fast, sometimes it's a little slower, depending on questions, right? No, we don't leave until there are no questions. No questions left. That's what you get for 97. You get all of the workbooks in a PDF form that you'll download and fill out on. We have Excel spreadsheets or numbers if you're a Mac fan, PDFs if you like to write it out in hand. All of those are provided to you prior to the event. So 97 buys you literally the event. No recordings, no chances to go look at no other additional content, nothing. The day of, and that night after the event, we take your name off as a member of the private Facebook group. 197, the second you buy the 197, let's say that's tonight, we're 3 weeks out before the event. You're going to get 197, you get 30-day access to the entire body of trainings and the entire, all 10 or 11 previous boot camps. You can mine that data all you want. 197. That's what you get. Then 20. So and then you have that for a full 30 days, right? So if you buy it the day before you go in, then you have 30 days afterwards. 29 a month is for subsequent months where you want each monthly boot camp. You want the Funding Hackers camp. You want to be able to be part of the community, ask questions, get things done. That's what the 29 a month is. So 197 buys 30-day deep dive mining activity, including the boot camp itself. And 29 a month is for any subsequent month you'd like access to Funding Hackers and everything you get. Now, here's what's interesting. I've had people who could never attend the entire weekend, but they bought the 197 so they could watch all the previous ones and all the later ones in 1 hour, 2 hour increments. Literally, ding, ding, ding. You just watch them at your leisure because you have access to the entire history. So that's the difference between the 197 and the $97.
There you go. That answered Jeanette's question too. Sign up for the 197, Jeanette, and you'll get the replays to watch in case of a life crisis, in case of something that pops up there for you. And it's one of the ththings that I like going back to and watching over and over again, different things, because it's you're drinking from a fire hydrant from Merrill all day long.
Imagine two entire days. I think Brad does the second day sometimes, and Brad is my chief funding officer, responsible for building the vast majority of the funding process, right? Vetting the banks, the experience. So you're going to get both of us. And we always weigh in on each other's when the other one is speaking. But just remember, the 197 gets you 30 days and then $29 every 30 days thereafter. Or, like day 30, day 60, day 90. You get 30 days access, which includes the boot camp itself. So whether you do it now or the day before, you get 30 days access before you start paying the $29 a month. What you do with that 30 days, whether you waste it and don't do anything about it and just go to the boot camp, or you start mining. There's not a single boot camp that has ever been the same. In fact, every month I update the student manual to new additions on the slides, because I'm the R&D guy, right? I have a FICO liaison that I'm in communication with. I just learned 2 weeks ago that of the 150 criteria that FICO measures and has been proven using hundreds of millions of data transactions, 150. The current software only implements 40 plus or minus of those 150. We've got decades worth of future FICO software, and I'm already optimizing my client files for the 150. That's what I'm talking about. That's the new content you get for that $29 a month. That's what being part of the Funding Hackers community is.
Yeah, guys. And the thing is, look, This is important. One of the most important things I think you can do, especially with what's going on in the market right now. If you want to be prepared for what's going to take place the next 12, 24, 36 months, this is the opportunity. When is the next class? What are the dates again for the next class again, Merrill?
September 28th and 29th. Should be on your screen. It's Saturday and Sunday.
You stopped sharing your screen.
Oh, whoa, hang on. I'm going to go back and share my screen. Whoa. I'm really not, my producer, Sky, is not here. You can tell.
It's okay.
Lord. All right. Where is that? Okay, here we go. Now I'm going to share the screen again and share. And all right. There we go. Holy Anna. There's in-person online, September 28th and 29th.
Mm-hmm. It just went away. You got to click it off of it. I think you've got to click. I think you have it. Your mouse.
Got it. There's a little. Somebody's asking something in the chat. You're handling those, right? So
I did. Yes.
I just see this yellow thing pop up, and I think I'm supposed to do something. I will leave it alone. I promise. I'm now leaving it alone.
There you go. Make sure you take advantage of the opportunity there for you guys. Look, if you want to sleep on it, sleep on it. It's fine. But you look, it's time to start taking action in anything that you're doing. And that's the thing that I see on a regular basis. It doesn't have to be Merrill. It doesn't have to be Aaron Young. Look, if you want to do something, start taking action with your business. Start making offers. Start reaching out to banks. Start putting the places in place so that you find success. Yeah, this is 3 weeks from now. Great. Yep. If you're going to sleep on it, you're not going to do anything, especially if you're Sunday, you're not going to be at the event. You're going to be driving or doing something like that. I love you guys, but trust me, this is one thing. And like you said, Merrill, at the end of the first day, they don't like it, or they can't make it, they change their mind, they can cancel, no questions asked, right?
No questions asked. They don't even have to not like it.
Yeah. Exactly. And I've seen Merrill do. Somebody's like, oh, I couldn't get on. Yeah, you could. Well, fine. It's easy. Just like join us here for 2 days, everybody. So, Merrill, thank you so much. Once again, it's fundinghackers.com. The link is in the chat roll, guys. It's fundinghackers.com for those that are watching the replays. Take advantage of for the class on the September 28th and 29th. These classes fill up quickly if you're going to be in person, right? You've got room for, what, 20, 30 people in SLC?
Yep, exactly. And we're already over halfway on the in-person, but there's got to make sure, guys, we only have so much bandwidth, and we don't take more than 30 people online simply because we would drag into 3 days because there's so many questions and answers. So 30 people in office, 30 people online, that's what we call a set. And we're down. Please join us because, guys, it doesn't get more laser focus than step by step by step to get funding.
Exactly. I mean, it's literally, that is exactly like that. You got a homework. Let's pull up the homework there before the day before so you can pull your things. You can see what's on your profile. And then the score sheet makes it easy for you to follow along, makes it easy for you to ask questions. And Merrill and his whole team.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, I do want to say that some people have asked, well, what happens if I online? Are we just spectators? No. We have people at the back who are part of who are watching on Facebook, and you ask a question and they have a mic that they ask the entire group the question. We answer every single question that is posed either online or in the studio.
There you go. Good stuff there. Good stuff. Well, Merrill, hey, buddy, enjoy the rest of your wonderful weekend. I know you've got some writing you're doing to wrap up your book this weekend.
Oh, I'm killing it. Dude, it is so fun. I'm talking about the revolving accounts portfolio and how, I love this stuff. I love this stuff.
It doesn't come across at all, brother. It doesn't come across at all.
No. Merrill, could you please raise your enthusiasm just a little bit?
Can you please make sure you have a heartbeat?
All right.
No. He doesn't need coffee. It's all natural, everybody. All natural.
Yeah, I'd hate to see me on stimulants. So
good stuff, brother. Well, hey, thank you so much for being on the virtual workshop. Guys, take advantage of this offer. Fundinghackers.com and get signed up today for the end of the month September boot camp. All right, everybody?
Hey, guys. Be well. All right. Bye now.